Hello, everyone. Thanks again for joining my live stream. Thanks for visiting me again. And if you just joined for the first time, um, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Anthony Francisco, and I am a senior visual development artist at Marvel Studios. So, what we do there is we help create and design the heroes and villains of the MCU. And I have up my website just to show you guys what I do, and I'm known to my most notable designs are for Baby Groot. So these are some of my designs for Guardians of the Galaxy 1, Volume 1, Galaxy and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. And hopefully Volume 3 will be coming soon. Yes, so this is my website and just showing some other stuff I've done. I've designed the Dora Milaje for Black Panther and Wanda for the cover of Road to Avengers. Hey CSR20 and Paris, thanks for joining me. Yes, so and another favorite one I've done, had a lot of fun doing, was Loki for Thor Ragnarok. So the visual development team is led by Ryan Meinerding, head of visual development, VP of creative development, and Andy Park, who is director of visual development. He also leads a lot of the shows, and supervisors Jackson Zay and Randy Fantabella and Yana and Ian Joyner and Yana Schirmer. We're like the full-time people there, and we just hire out freelance to have more people for all the projects we're doing. And there's a bunch of amazing artists that get together to give you guys what you see on screen. That's another favorite that I had a lot of fun doing. Incredible Hulk. They ended up using my shoulder armor piece, which is heavily, inspired by Jack Kirby. Yeah, Andy is so cool. I've known Andy for a while now. And here, when I was working on Thor Ragnarok, this scene, I got to really help with how this fight scene could look like and how his lightning would feel like. Andy Park led this show. Here's another. Hey Izzy, Era, Leo, thanks for joining me. Yes, I want to do more tutorials, but I know you guys are here to see some other stuff, but I just wanted to share these older stuff that I did. One thing that no one knows, I don't really get to share is I helped with designing the battle between Doctor Strange and Thanos. And they actually liked the idea. I'm excited to say this, but in Infinity War, when Thanos breaks the moon and rains it down on Doctor Strange, that was actually my idea. So here, I think I have it here. This one. So this was the painting for that shot. So when I was pitching it to Ryan, I was saying he would portal pieces of rock or even the Halley's Comet or something, and bring it down on Doctor Strange. So yeah, I was really happy to see. You could even see some of the shapes of the rocks. They used it for the final scene. But of course, it's still more amazing in the movie. There's so many artists that had to, work all together to give this, amazing epic battle. And 10 years of amazing shows. Thank you, Era. I know these are some of the things that no one will really know. So I thought, oh, maybe I should share it with you guys. I wish um it's easier to talk about it, but Paris, thank you for inviting me to your Marvel Cinematic Universe group here. Also, let me close this first. Yeah, so thank you for inviting me, and I'm happy I could share this with you guys. But you guys came here for a different reason, which I'm gonna share now, is this keyframe I did for Wanda Vision. So I was gonna share zoom in so you guys could see it a little more, because to really appreciate the details, I could zoom in to at the bottom of the screen. If you notice, Agatha and Wanda fighting. Oh, there's a spelling mistake on the title. What was the mistake in the title? I'll change it later. But what was it? CSR. Did I spell Wanda wrong? Or Vision? But yeah, what I failed to do is I was gonna have link my Discord if you guys wanted to ask a question, to ask it over there, and we could actually talk. Let me see if I could do it real quick. There's gonna be some echoing for a little bit. I'm missing the A on Wanda. Okay, so yeah, let me see. Curious. Let me see your questions. How keyframe art differs from concept art or illustration. So how keyframe art differs is it's still an illustration, but the keyframe art helps the director visualize how the scene could look like. And one good thing about doing a keyframe piece is to see if it's doable or maybe how expensive it might be. And we are encouraged, the designers are encouraged to go really far. For example, like this image, I had tried the Kirby crackle to see if that's possible. And I had other versions without the Kirby crackle just to also give other options. So keyframe art is, I think, very important when it comes to production. So even having the costumes and having to show the interaction between the characters. I have another keyframe I did for, I wish I could find it for you guys, but that might take too much time. But I did a keyframe for Guardians of the Galaxy, the kiln scene, and with a group of different aliens interacting with each other, and they wanted to see that, to see if the that scene could work with these type of aliens. So it was really important. In the beginning, I wasn't sure why either, but eventually it's like, okay, I see. So does this alien look good beside this other alien look? Same with Infinity War, when or was the End Game? We were designing the some gags in the end battle scene to see which just to show visually which characters could be cool together, or even when Cap held the shield and the hammer at the same time. How does that look? Yeah, sometimes I don't. You get surprised with some of the shots, and you're like, oh, I didn't expect it to look that amazing. Um, Even though it's gonna look really awesome. Oh, I put the Discord in there just in case anybody wants to ask any questions. I'm gonna drop into my Discord now in the Art Lounge, and possibly, I mean, if you guys have Discord, you could ask me a question there, and I could just reply. I'm also Marvel Vegigante. I don't think I know Marvel Vegigante. Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna take a few more questions about Wanda Vision. If you guys have any. Oh yeah, Wilson, the calf with the hammer. I know I saw that image. Ryan, I think Ryan Meyerding was the one painting that. Just the ideas we were trying to do, but I totally forgot it when I watched the film. So during the premiere, the world premiere, we were like, I was just like in awe, I could still watch that show like over and over again. It just feels really good. Let me see. Facts. Yes. Hey, maybe a little bit more about this. I think I've explained this enough. I am okay. I'm gonna drop in the Art Lounge in Discord and see there's other people there that want to ask questions. Okay, it's like taking a call. I guess this is the easiest way. Okay, drop into Art Lounge now. Hello. Hey, Joseph. Thanks for being here with me. Everyone, just want to introduce you, Joseph. He's a good friend of mine, and he is working with me with my own personal projects that I'm working on.
Hello?
Yeah.
Hey.
Hey, so
Yeah, thanks for. Hi there, Anthony. Thanks for this.
hey, Rush. Thanks for joining me. Card Ching is coming in, and Wilson, from Joseph. If you could help me read some of the the questions on YouTube stream, just in case I miss them. Because here Paris has a question. Quick question about WandaVision. How is it different to work on a TV show versus movie? All right, now Joe, you got it now if you see it. Okay, sorry. Okay, how is it different working on a TV show? Is I think with Marvel it doesn't feel different because they're all characters from the films. For me anyway, in my end of the design phase, it still feels like we're giving as much attention as we do the movies. So there's not much difference. There's a lot of exciting things gonna happen, that's for sure. And the story, you could like expand on it, almost like the behind the scenes from the films. What's how their lives are going on. I'm sure everyone's enjoying Winter Soldier, Falcon Winter Soldier, right? It's like real world problems for superheroes. Okay, I'm gonna I'm gonna I also was doing this live stream to do portfolio review critique. So in about 10 minutes, I'm gonna do that. So I'm just inviting more questions, if any, for this Q&A.
I have one question, Anthony.
Yes, yes.
I cannot ask for on YouTube. I don't know why it doesn't allow to play. I'm
Oh,
wondering, how is the briefing that you get for these works? Like, how much do they ask for you specifically to bring in a piece, and how much do you have for free ideas to give into the story, like what you previously say about the moon? Like, you were like, oh, this is cool. What about we do this?
I see, I see. I was just talking about that earlier. It was kind of funny. I could show this to you. Oh, am I sharing my screen? Sorry, let me share my screen real quick. Actually, maybe are you watching? You know what? I won't share my screen. Just watch it through YouTube, because I think it affects my bandwidth for some reason. So okay, let me show you.
Yeah, sure, no problem.
Cool. So one example I could show here is this shot, this keyframe. My description was this. It's like Ryan comes in the room and then asks me, "Hey, Anthony, can you do so Thanos and Doctor Strange are gonna have this huge battle. Can you make something that's epic that we've never seen before?" And that's it. So I'm like, oh, this is gonna be awesome. But at the same time, oh man, how epic, how crazy can I go? And I'm kind of known to be the crazy idea guy that just pushes things a little bit too far, and that's how I came up with this one. Maybe it was too far, but when they did it, I was like, wow. It just felt really good that I'm part of the discussion and part of even molding what could happen on screen. So that's what I love about working at Marvel. It's still one of the best place for me anyway to work at, because you have certain how's this voice, because in like the hierarchy of things, not really a hierarchy, but we are very close to like the president of Marvel, Kevin Feige, so he really looks to us, and the production actually trusts our team a lot when it comes to just visualizing and even inspiring the writers to write stuff, because early on in productions, sometimes the script's not even made, and we haven't even hired the director or the costume designer that were already designing the costumes or designing the look of the film. Not all the time, but for certain movies like Black Panther or Doctor Strange. I guess most of it, because I remember Ryan Meyerding working on Captain America before they even had like a story written. Yeah, did that answer your question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
There was a question in the chat about, did you do any keyframes on or concepts on Falcon and Winter Soldier?
No, I actually didn't get to work on Falcon Winter Soldier. I wish I had a chance. I was on Wanda Vision during that time. Yeah.
Also, there's another question from Dan, and he was wondering if you could share any of your orthotype images.
Oh.
Any of your Marvel work.
Okay, let me see. I think I have one here. I should post some of that up, the back views and the front. But you could find those in the art books. In the Black Panther art book, I have the front and back views. Let me see if I could even see it. I think it's here somewhere. Like this is not mine, I think. But it was painted on top of my front view that I did. Yeah, sometimes artwork gets delivered to costumes, and sometimes they have to do like paintings on top. This is mine, but this is for the tattoo designs. I'll try to look for that and post it, but definitely you could find it in the art books, front view and back views. Let me see if... Yeah, I'll probably have to do that later so we don't use up too much time, because I only have an hour to spare. But was there a question with the front and back views you wanted to know?
I think it was just to look at them, I think.
Oh, I see. It's Dan. Dan Robin.
In your CG core.
Yeah. That's a good note to have. I will definitely... I probably just posted on my Instagram. If you want to see it there, I could do that. I've done orthos for the Loki's costume, the Dora Milaje costumes. I think other stuff I can mention. I think those are the only two that comes to my mind right now. Because I think there's some background characters that I did some turnarounds for. Definitely, yeah. Some of them they really needed to see the back views just to make sure we have the design properly made. That is some misconceptions sometimes that we at work don't think of the whole view and it's just the front view, but no, that's not true. I even take into account what the character does in the film so I could design the costumes accordingly.
There's another question from Era. What are some of the ongoing projects you're working on now?
Right now I'm working on Captain Marvel 2, Antman 3, and Black Panther 2. Last year was crazy because I was like on 4 projects at the same time, including the Baby Groot series, and it was hard, especially when you get lucky with some of the other designs, and then now you have to work on all of them or something like that. And it's fun though. It's still fun. It's just 4 projects at the same time. It's just hard for me.
Can I ask a question as a follow-up to that?
Yes.
Film, I'm not sure because I don't have too much knowledge about it, that industry. You said while you're on the same projects, is it like you switch briefs every single day to like get the work done, or is it you get a few weeks to do work for one project and then you switch over?
Yeah, that's a good question, Wilson. That would be ideal, but sometimes you're on it at the same time because the meeting is on the same week. So you're like, oh man, yeah. Sometimes, but 1 week on one project, the next week on another project is something we strive for. But yeah, sometimes you have to switch your mindset from, sci-fi to more realistic, more, and then sometimes it gets even crazier. So I think one of the hardest for me was when I was working on uh, um, uh, Black Widow, and then I had to go from real like that to something that's crazy. I think I was on Shang Chi at the same time, so it was like trying to switch your mind back and forth. But through just experience and just getting to know being in the industry for a while, you could not easily, but you're ready for that kind of switch. But I'd rather jump from sci-fi to another action adventure instead of going from sci-fi to, oh, this is very real and drama, more like a drama. It's just easier for your mindset to switch. Is that did you have, was that good, Wilson?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. Yeah. That's why when you do your designs, it's good to try different genres when you're designing stuff and see how you could switch from like horror creature design or into a sci-fi kind of funny show. Because on Thor 4, the Love and Thunder, and the kind of director you're gonna be with, so it's like, okay, I know his sensibilities versus like James Gunn, but they're kind of similar. Taika and James, they're not quite similar, but they have this comedic timing that that you kind of I think it fits more with my personality. But then I love epic stuff like Russo Brothers when they're directing Infinity War and End Game, and that was like the kind of work I had to do for that was not the character designs. I had to do like bigger ideas, like I was showing with the Doctor Strange battle, and on Endgame I actually had to do I don't know if it's here, I don't think it's here. Endgame, I had to help with designing the time travel, how the time travel would look like. I think I could show that. It's really rough though, so just to show them how a visual cue for time travel videos. Let me see if I could share this with you guys, because I don't actually get to share this with anybody. Nobody knows that I help with that time travel. Oh, I don't have it. It's not here. I have to look for it. It's probably in my other computer. All of this is when. Hello? Sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, just like a sound came in. So all of this is just having them shrink, and the light effect that looks like when they're shrinking, and then bouncing onto the floor, and then like a wave effect. So I did like an animatic for that. Oh no, Dan, you could post a sorry, I'm just answering a question on he could post your artwork on portfolio chat, and I'll try to get to it. Yeah. Sorry. So did that answer your question? Your follow-up question? Yeah, I already forgot my train of thought when I was going through. It's like, oh, man. After it's hard when I'm looking through the chat. That's why sorry, Joseph. I know he's helping me with looking through the chat, so I'm gonna try not to look at it so I don't get confused. Anyway, yes. So in a couple of minutes, I'm gonna switch over to doing portfolio paint overs. If you guys still wanna, um, stay with me on this, and I'll still could answer more questions about other stuff. Okay, so.
Yeah, I to that. So,
Okay, okay. Could you drop an image
oh yeah,
that you want me to look
portfolio chat.
in portfolio chat? Yes.
Okay, sweet. Yeah.
I'm gonna start with the rush first. I'm gonna get your.
Okay.
Hold on. Let me go here. Could you give me an image I could just copy?
Yeah. I can.
Yeah.
Sure. Actually, I wanted, if it's not too much trouble, like an overall
Uh,
suggestion of how I could frame my work for film industry, like of what I have in the art station. If it's not too much trouble, if not, I'll just.
Okay, here. I see. I could do that. We only have a few people here for. Okay, I'm looking at your portfolio right now. Let me see through it. Yeah, cool stuff.
So like, things. I always have trouble like thinking what should I focus on, like to for a recruiter stance. Like, I know I should do more turnarounds, but like from what I have, what I should focus more on, what things I'm overdoing too much maybe, and shouldn't do as much. Like, should I get more variations, more process of the work, all these things. I'm not very sure.
I think.
I have, if you scroll, like there's several iterations of the charter. So.
I think. If I scroll down, I see. I think these are all cool to have. Maybe the addition you should have is a little more posed characters instead of just head on, like, which is good to have too, but also have that that in your portfolio just so.
More action, more dynamic.
Yeah, it's not even have to be action, but if it's in a 3/4 view, then you could showcase that you can do 3/4. That's the first thing I would see, like, because I'm not sure. But if.
Yeah, I mostly did the frontal view because I'm new to this, so that was the easiest thing to
Yes.
go in.
It's yeah, and it's fine to have frontal view like this. It's just you want to show that you could also do 3/4, just because if you have to do a turnaround for the character, for the 3D modeler or visual development, or I mean visual effects. Also, I know the subject matter you probably should push a little more in the design aspect of stuff, because everything that you have is more on the realistic costumes, which actually this you could do be a costume illustrator with this portfolio. I think you, for like smaller jobs that don't require too much design, it's just more clothing. Yeah. So one of your images, Tashigi, I think has the better pose from everyone else, because she has more character in her pose, I think. And I guess working on your lighting a little bit better would also be helpful. So you showed me this image. Let me go faster. Sorry, I don't want to take too much time so I could get through a lot other people. Like with this image, I would say like this is pretty cool. I think I would want to see him just fill the page a little more.
Yeah, that I heard you talk about
Yeah, yeah,
the character doing it.
yeah. Just it'll just feel, and then maybe with this guy, I would work on his proportion. I mean, his proportions right already. I just maybe just to make him feel.
Short-legged, isn't it?
Yeah, he feels short, like, but no, it's just a little bit. It's not really. I wasn't gonna change it that much. Because I think you're doing well. This is good start for you. It's just taking that and maybe lighting it a little better. Um, this is gonna be kind of rough, but I just I feel like already he feels a little more intense. Um, maybe just warp him a little bit. I think for him, like, so this is a great base you have. Now you have to like kind of figure out how to maybe add little things. Maybe he has tattooing here or something only on one arm.
Well, these are like from a manga actually. It's like
Oh,
it's from One Piece, and there's
One
a couple
Piece.
of actions that was like, yeah, I wanted to keep my own show, so I did this.
Oh, that's
Not
perfect.
like direct translations of those.
That's
Yeah,
which,
like
which character is he?
have more. Romono Azoro,
Man, I
the
gotta.
guy from the shorts.
Oh, the main character. No, he's not the main.
Yeah, the second actual.
I.
Is the one with the straw hat.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's.
His name.
I forgot. I haven't watched One Piece in a while, but my kids love it so much. Um, I have to look through it. Yeah. I would. I would say I almost want to research more on this and try to make this feel a little more because everything else is plain. There must be a piece that you could make not so plain. So maybe this piece could be it. And I know there's a lot of um what do you call this? John Jerome. Uh, he did a lot of Middle Eastern paintings of like yeah, and you could use that for reference. 'Cause John Leon Jerome, yes, that guy. He's one of my favorites. I think he would even have guns right here. It's like right.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know if this guy has guns, but he
No, but like take some ideations from
yeah, yeah. So you could put that there. That could be something cool. And then breaking up your shape a little more. Maybe you could have little cloth down here, and then it's nice. It's like then you could have like little pieces of red color. Somewhere here. Even what if it was like little decoration on the head? This would be your accent color, I guess, or some. I don't know if it's called lace. I don't know what the term is for that.
yeah, I never remember the name for that thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I think this would I would do to make to just add a little bit. But you have a great base. It's just going on top of it now. Seeing how you could redesign the boots if you could have straps instead of something. Maybe it could be steel toe boots. Something like that. His swords are down here. How would it look like if it was up here? But yeah, and then I would do a 3/4, or even you could also test the shirt out to how you want the shirt to be. Even redesigning the shirt.
So regarding the backgrounds, like, what do you suggest having a few pieces where I go more showcase more environment in the background? Because I'm going with the blend of photo shoot and plain background because it's easy and fast sensitive. Then
Yeah.
having more ones with background.
I like having backgrounds with mood in it, and not make it feel like it's in a studio. So you should watch some movies, and pick out some scenes there that you think fit the character. Like Blade has a lot of nice scenes in the beginning when you introduce Blade. So I think most of movies where they introduce the characters is what you want to look at. Yeah. Cool. Did you have any other question? I'm gonna move on to the next person.
Like for example, I will have trouble thinking of the questions. For searching for a job in this kind of line of work for film from TV, like where exactly should I be searching for, like production in things of production for movies and things like that? Try to approach those, or happen.
Usually what I would do before, when I first started, I would look at the movies that I want to work on, and then look at the credits and see all the major companies that worked on it, and then there's also smaller companies that worked on it. So I'll try to get in on the smaller companies since I was just starting out. Definitely that way. And effects companies, just so you could build your resume. I first started at a traditional, special effects company called ADI, Amalgamated Dynamics Incorporated. I was working on like a spec project there. I actually met them through an open house class. Joe Duchel, he had a sculpting class, and I went to his open house, and that's how I met the person there. But it was totally accidental. It's like,
Yeah, that happens a lot for what I hear.
yeah.
Like suddenly a job comes out of nowhere.
And I told this story many times, and the question some people had, well, that's back in the past and it's different now. Could it still be the same? But I feel it could, because even now, I mean, of course, because of COVID, you can't actually have face-to-face interaction with people, but then you have online stuff where like this, like we're actually talking directly to each other. And I know the owner of ADI has a Instagram, right? Like I would probably hit them up and see if they want to check out my work, if they need anything, that's well, back then I was just doing creature design, so all creature design stuff. And I was very honest with the kind of work I put out, like, I could only do sketches and sketch designs and somewhat paint, because this was 20 years ago. I couldn't really paint in Photoshop that well until I learned Photoshop, and it just made so much of the work easier. Yeah. So so that's something you can do. It is also always difficult. I mean, I turned my stuff into a bunch of special effects studios, but they're local because I lived in Los Angeles. And only one got back, which is actually no, none got back. I'm sorry, no one got back, and I only had the opportunity because Jordu had that open house.
Yeah, that I'm suffering a lot, like sending 1,000 mails and not getting a response from any.
Yeah, it really is waiting for the right time, because even um at getting into Marvel, even though I knew the people work in Marvel, because I used to teach at Noman and Art Center, and when I was teaching at Noman with Kevin Chen, Ryan Meinerding took our class, and a bunch of other really amazing artists. Now they're like very far into their career. Even Andy Park took a class with us, but he was already kind of famous. But he's very humble. He never told me that he did what was it, Tomb Raider, right? I didn't know he was a famous comic book artist at that time. But he wanted to get into concept art, so he was taking our class, me and Kevin. So my point of saying that story is that I even though I knew the people there, I couldn't just apply there because there was no opening. And eventually, when Guardians of the Galaxy came around and they needed a creature designer, then I was there. But the funny thing is, I didn't just do creatures anymore, but I was still known from my friends at that time to just do creature design.
That weird timing.
Yeah.
I mean, my first job was with environment, and I've never done environment before that job.
Amazing.
That was a funny coincidence.
Yeah, you take whatever you can. Even sending your stuff out to non film stuff, like Magic the Gathering, or just different Dungeons and Dragons, that kind of stuff. It will help just show that you are working. Okay, thanks, Rush. I will.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks.
very much, Anthony. Appreciate much this talk.
Okay, cool. All right, Wilson. So this looks pretty awesome. How so what's your question?
It's just like if there's anything with like the composition that I can improve, or with colors or lighting, because I'm still like pretty new to taking this seriously.
Yeah.
The past like 2 or so years, I've taken it more seriously, and so like some of my fundamentals still aren't there. Personally, they're not. I don't feel as comfortable with them as I'd like.
Yeah.
Especially things like perspective. This one was, I don't know how like film does it, but my area is more geared towards games. And
Yeah.
it's normally like photo bashing, and then like 3D base models. Like for film, would be like photo plates. So I tried using some of that here as well.
Awesome. You should probably also get into 3D, right? Blender.
All these guys are 3D.
Yeah, no, I mean doing like a 3D shot, like getting into that to push yourself a little more so that you could have that in your repertoire, and doing illustration. But yeah, I could. It's good though. You did you model this all in 3D first, like in ZBrush?
Yeah, all of these are in Maya, and then I threw them into, I don't know if you know about Substance Painter, just a technical
Yeah, I heard it.
basic tutorial.
Yeah. I think initially when I first look at this, one thing I think you did was you modeled it, you got it in how you want in 3D, but then you didn't. Did you also use an environment in 3D and compose it within that 3D environment?
So I figured out how, like, using tutorials on YouTube. So in
Yeah.
Blender, I was able to, if you know Blender, it
Yes.
creates,
Yeah.
like, a shader system where it creates like a nebula for me.
Uh,
I just
yeah.
auto adjusted the colors to what I like, and then I just rendered one
I see.
rendered each of the subjects on a separate layer, and just composited it in Photoshop, and then adjusted levels and such.
I see. But was this shot was what you see in Blender, or was it? I see.
And in Blender, it's like the lighting's all off, and then
Yeah, yeah. So definitely work your way to doing the whole scene in the 3D shot, so that you could just take a screenshot or get that whole scene, and then you'll have your perspective right. I think that's one thing for the next project. But for this one, I I think it depends how you want it. How you want the presentation to be, because to me this looks like a cool scene already that could be in a book. Yeah, it's pretty cool. You're far along in your journey. It's really cool. Composition wise, I don't know why, but I'm compelled to do this one, like more from the top down scene, looking up. And it's like it just feels like this feels more epic to me if it was upside down this way.
It's like having the camera lower, and then everything's just bigger.
Yeah, it's oh wait, oops, hold on, let me. And they're attacking the ship, right? It seems like, and it seems like it's flying down towards.
Yeah. So this was based off of so like Ubisoft has this competition where I live.
Ah, cool.
This is for one of their competitions. So yeah, one thing I was struggling with was how to get the brief across in the piece, because you mentioned it felt like it was more attacking, right?
No, it felt like it was being attacked. It felt like it's being attacked.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
like something I was trying to get across, but I also didn't want it to be very explicit, because in the brief it's more of like this place is a meeting place, but then all these factions are like not friendly.
Ah, I see.
So I guess how to get the emotions or the feelings of scenario or environment across to the viewer would be another question.
Yeah, I think it is a difficult what do you call, story to tell, I guess, here. But they're not attacking. They're just coming into port, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and I guess you could focus more on them coming into port. Okay, the initial thing. Okay, now that I'm painting it, I feel like you need more perspective cues, right? So you have this big ship here. Then I think you want to show more ships going into the horizon, into the ship, into the main ship, just so you can show that it's changing in size, and you also wanna have like some ships pointing towards this main ship, so you could kind of get to the focal point. Remember the rule of thirds? Yeah, so I kind of have it here now. The intersections would be here and another intersection here. Maybe I could have another ship coming in this way. So your eye goes from, this ship that goes in, and then your eye wouldn't come out here because you got a ship coming in here. Then possibly your eye might bounce off here, and then maybe another ship here coming in, but smaller, just to show this is a bigger ship, this is a smaller ship. And then going back, when it comes around here, maybe you could have this is cool, these two ships right here. This is cool to show scale. But then this ship is like going out, so maybe you could have that going in, so they all look like they're going into this. down here. And then this ship could be much closer to us. And then this ship will seem so much bigger now. But making sure you use some visual cues from this to say they're part of the same armada.
Yeah, scale was definitely something I was struggling with this one. I tried adjusting it by adding like those little smaller ships right following behind them.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely could do more of that.
Yeah. But that's good. You could kind of see what it needs. So now, even though these ships are flying this way, it's okay because I catch him with this ship to push my eye back in.
Right.
You know, and
And it helps like fill out that spot a little bit more too. Because I know that I felt like that was a little bit empty, but I just didn't know what to do with that like bottom area.
yeah. Cool. I'm glad. Yeah, because overall the painting I think is really cool. It's just composing your scale elements. I think that's one of the important things that every artist should focus on is perspective. And how do you get good perspective is paying attention to scale. Anyway, this is gonna be rough.
No worries. Go ahead. Yeah, like, cause I'm self-taught, right? So it's like a little bit harder just trying to find like all the right information. Like I know Feng Zhu, if you know about him.
Oh yeah, I know him.
Yeah. So he has like this he has a school and then he also has this YouTube channel. And he keeps like posting exercises on Twitter, so I'd always try to like jot them down and figure out like how I can implement this into like my own practice and studies.
Yeah.
And I'm just curious if you might have any like favorite ways to practice perspective, because one of the things Zhu's exercises is like to draw letters in space and then reflect them.
Oh.
Literal letters, like 3D block out of letters in 2D perspective.
Yeah. I think my favorite way that I've learned is because it hits two things. Your scaling and like atmospheric perspective is to do a lot of landscape painting, and that really helps. Like every day, I was landscape painting every day, twice a day sometimes, and sometimes really difficult situations. It is good to go with a group of people that are already kind of good so that you could learn from how they do it. But I am planning on doing one for my YouTube channel because last year I was teaching my wife how to draw. She's never drawn before. Yeah, and she's improved so much with just doing like landscape painting. Actually, landscape painting I've taught her like 2 years ago, and that's when I saw that she had, she was easy to teach, I think. And yeah, I should share her stuff with you guys sometime. Actually, yeah, I should have a video. Okay, here, let me just share it real quick. She has an Instagram. Yes. Oh yeah. Go ahead.
If you mean landscape painting, do you mean in real life or do you mean drawing from pictures or?
You could go in real life also, and in pictures. Really, you're focusing on learning scale. What's in front. This is her stuff. This is her birds. So this was just 6 months of training. She's my resume for teaching. It's like,
Wow, that's crazy.
and this was the beginning of her sketches. But I wanted her to post more that was a little more, because this is better already. I wanted her to show the ones where she totally did not, it didn't look that good, But these are all studies from other artists, past artist masters from before, and then she started getting better when I found out that, hey, birds, she loves birds. So then we started doing so this is like how she was drawing before. It's still cool, but anyway, I just wanted to show you guys after I showed her how to render the right not the right way, it's just another technique on how to do your shadows and keeping your values clear, and that could really help with your perspective, scale issues, and that kind of stuff. And the reason I was showing this is because we also, like, when we're doing landscape painting, you'll be able to notice what's in the foreground and how to kind of mirror that in the background. I don't think this is not a good example. Well, no, actually, yeah, this could be a good, like these houses here and this house here, how much of a scale difference that would be, and you would only know that when you're landscape painting.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Did that answer? What's her name? Who asked that question? Was it what?
That's someone else.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Karching. You're welcome. Yeah, I had so much problems with that before. But can you see it now? It's like it feels. And I took out the ship here, and the reason why I took out that ship is because it was messing your scale. Even in this angle, it was too big. Right, so you almost want it to go big, getting smaller, but having a starting point. I do like this one better than.
Upside down.
Yeah, it just has a epic feeling to it, and then you could even have a black hole in the back or something where everyone's coming in from that wormhole or something.
Right. Yeah.
Like, and just light and just this swirling gravitational pull, and then you see different ships coming out from there.
But yeah, that's a good idea too.
Yeah, so they're just like, and then you could use that for perspective.
Right. Yeah. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I did reach out to some other concept artists to get some feedback, and they mentioned like definitely have try to have things with like human scale that we know about, but I think kind of like ladders and doors where it's generally the same size.
Yeah.
And just like put them on the ships, but I think that idea of like making it a little bit more in the fitting the theme, having like black holes or like
Yeah.
coming through, definitely really helps too.
It's funny because I wouldn't have known this as a advice. It's because I worked on Doctor Strange, and we had a lot of like space stuff there,
Right.
and Guardians of the Galaxy, so that's why now I know, because putting ladders in a space scene, you have to put planets and moons. That would, and people know how big a black hole is. So if it's this small, then you know that it's pretty far away. Yeah, planets too. Yeah, you definitely need some planets out further away.
One that's very, I think you painted it out, but it's like very small, but it's not there to like attract too much attention. Because like for me, like I haven't done a sci-fi space painting before at all,
Yeah.
and yeah, trying to get that sense of scale when there's like no ground plane or no like
Yeah.
literal forms of references is like crazy.
It's really, this is a difficult scene, but I would say it turned out well. It looks cool. You actually probably don't need to put the planets, because I feel like this is a little closer to the planet I'm on right now, looking up. I would recommend maybe kind of working the clouds a little more, I guess. Because if my perspective is going to be here, maybe I could have the clouds also have perspective. Which you're doing here already. This is like an underplane, right? And then this is a side plane, but maybe, I don't know, somehow make that use that for scale to go into the horizon over here.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I had a inkling of intention, or like
Yeah.
I never acted on it, and then after I submitted, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
that might have been a good idea. But yeah.
But it's very little things, so I wouldn't change it too much, because I think I almost like this cloud could go over here also, like just follow through the image, and then make this one smaller because you want this to get bigger here, then smaller here, so you could push that perspective a little more. But now it doesn't feel right. It's gonna be some. Oh, another thing that you kind of want to probably look at is this perspective too. Going through, so maybe smaller pieces here and then bigger pieces down here. Oh yeah, maybe a cloud right here that's closer to us. Yeah, and then you got,
Just take more practice, pretty much. Like,
yeah.
between studies and like finish is, for me, it's a little bit more difficult because I have to try and figure this out myself.
You again, you're doing well. We're actually the same. I didn't finish school. I got a job sooner than I expected on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And then I just said, okay, I'm not gonna do school anymore, and just learned on the job.
Oh yeah, that brings that to mind though, because let's say like, because this was for a competition where if you win it, you get an internship, right, at Ubisoft.
Oh, awesome.
So
Oh.
it's like, because I'm like I'm in school but not for art, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm doing this on the side, so I'm thinking like, if I were to win it, and they were offering me like a extension rate,
Yeah.
should I stay or should I go? Like,
Oh, if you're in Ubisoft and you're doing well and you're getting along with everyone and you're improving in your art, you should stay. Definitely. Don't you can always go back to school later, but the education you're gonna have in the job is so how do you say this, like once in a lifetime type opportunity, yeah, that I remember asking my, like, my family aunts, usually on one side of the family, are so like hardcore with finishing school that when I asked them this question, right, like,
I totally get it.
so I asked them a question. I went, okay, let's say I'm at school, I'm almost graduating, I just have one more year, and George Lucas, Star Wars calls me up to work on one of the Star Wars films. So should I go or should I finish school? And when they answered me, of course, finish school, then that's it. All right, I'm not listening to you guys anymore, because that's why I'm going to school, to go to work on Star Wars.
Yeah.
So then that's, of course, I'm not angry at them or anything. I just realized that they don't understand the entertainment industry and where I'm actually trying to go.
Right. And I guess the only concern I have with, let's say I do leave, that the program is a degree program, and I'm in Canada, so I don't know if like job opportunity wise, in terms of like entertainment, I might just have to look for visas, and then I know visas are kind of hard to get without a degree.
But you can always work, remotely in any film project. Yeah.
I felt like they would have like tax issues with that, because like from what I heard from like some professors in studios, they're like, normally they would prefer you move there because of like tax lawyers you have to get and all the paperwork.
I guess that's probably true, but I guess the question is, can you work from remotely? And you can for sure. I mean, we hire a lot of people working not in the United States, so it does work. And game studios would probably do the same thing. Special effects studios would. Like, this is a good portfolio for special effects shop to see. You should do other versions of this, by the way. You should do one where it's just in deep space, where everything's black and stars and just planets. Oh shoot, sorry, I didn't realize it's already past 11. It's 11:08. Oh, it's okay. I get sometimes I just like to talk so much that I could be talking like for hours. Um,
But yeah, this is really helpful, like especially your paintover. Um, Super awesome. Thank you so much.
oh no, you're welcome. You're welcome. Cool. I'm gonna answer a few more questions. Be here like 10 more minutes before I go, or 5 more minutes. Um, if anybody else has, yeah.
Dan had a question.
Okay.
Sorry. Yeah, Dan had a question. It said that he's heard the degrees help, but would actual job experience be better or help as much as a degree?
Yeah, Dan, that is like a not a debate, but something we artists talk about a lot with other students, where it really is your portfolio that gets you in and not your degree. And I'm a perfect example of that because I don't have a degree, and I also ended up teaching at Art Center because of my experience. Again, quoting my mom when I was talking to her, and she was like saying, well, no, how will you get hired if you don't, you didn't finish? And I kept on explaining to her, it's not about how my grades are. I'm a C student, but my artwork is what's going to get me in. And that's only for art, I think. I'm not sure about being a doctor. I think if you want to be a doctor, you need a degree. Also, yeah, maybe even accounting, you'd need that too. But with art, your experience is in your portfolio. So the more types of work you show, then the more they know what you can do. But I would still suggest to focus on what you really want to do and not spread yourself out too thin where, I'm doing characters, I'm doing creatures, I'm doing, environments. Go with what you love to do first and then add a little bit of, the other extra stuff. Because if you get hired, you want to be doing what you want to do, and then you expand on that once you are gaining more experience. That's kind of like what I did. I just did creatures, and while I was working for 2 years just doing creature design, I saw the how do you say this? Like there might be a problem later on. What if there's no more horror movies that get made? Then I need to do characters, right? I need to do environments. But by that time, I gained enough confidence getting jobs as a creatures designer that I felt like, I could do environments, and boy, was I wrong. I was like, this is so hard. This environment's so hard. So, this was it Wilson? You're the one that gave me that. Yeah, this painting you did, and you're not trained. Really, it's amazing. I would. It's just a few things you need to know here and there, but yeah, like 1 to 2 years probably you'd, or even one, depending how hard you're working, you'd become really good. But anyway, I guess my point is that eventually you will get more of a variety in your work, but initially you want to just focus on the one you want to have the most fun in, and it actually pushes you to do more.
Yeah. Man, you need to like record yourself saying that like, art for self-taught degree versus no degree, and just like put it online so that people just show their parents.
Yeah. Oh man, I had.
We're in quite similar, like me and you are like similar experiences where it's like no like formal education in this, but then trying to make it big. You've already made it, right? And I'm still trying.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm having fun where I'm doing, but there's another segment, another thing I want to try is just doing my own stuff and directing and that kind of stuff. So that's another thing that's going to be self-taught, right? Just classes online, but same thing. If you're really disciplined with yourself and you don't need school, you just get the online classes. Especially now, there's so much free stuff on YouTube. So there's no excuse, just there's, and it's not like you need permission to do the art. You could just do it. You want to do creatures, do your creatures. You want to do environments, you do it. No one's stopping you, but understanding that the journey is going to be still difficult. right? I have students. I remember one of my students. He's pretty successful now too, but his dad really wanted him to finish art center, and he was already getting hired for other. Like I almost hired him for this game studio I was in, recommending him to go. But he just felt like, for his dad, so he did that. But I wish more parents of artists would know that you should look at their portfolio, their artwork, but some of them can't gauge how good you are. It's just, oh, that's nice. Why can't you draw flowers and pretty stuff?
What I'm saying. Flowers, like, why you drawing such like not flowery stuff? Like, man.
Yeah. Joseph has the similar kind of story, right, Joseph?
Yeah, kinda. I mean,
He's an amazing 3D artist too.
yeah.
Yeah.
When I originally, when I was going to school, yeah, my parents weren't really down for going to art school, because it's always kind of seems like it's a frivolous thing to do, I think. But
Yeah.
But if that's like something that you're passionate about pursuing, and like for myself, like it's the only thing like I was good at. Like like Anthony said, like I'm not going to be like a doctor or even an accountant. I can barely count as it is. So, art was the only way forward into getting a job that wasn't gonna be like like some sort of like dishwasher or something like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, it takes like dedication, like it's like something that like I do like, and like my whole like life growing up is like it's like something that you gotta practice like almost every single day. So
Yeah, definitely.
they didn't think I was. I think they knew I was serious about it. I just don't think that they thought career-wise it was like there's like a ton of these kinds of jobs out there.
Yeah. You're definitely doing comic book characters or loving Marvel stuff when I was younger. And I didn't do much doing. I did more like fantasy and sci-fi and horror stuff, but circled around back to doing superhero stuff is amazing because it's like I've always been doing this. Now the industry caught up with my skill set, But yeah, it's awesome to see everyone's journey, and again, I've had students from before, like 15 years ago, that had a lot of these problems with parents or even with just themselves, worried that they won't get work or how fast does this take. It doesn't matter how fast it takes, it just matters that you're happy doing it, and eventually it'll happen.
It's like a lifetime thing. Even if I don't get hired, it's like I'll still do it.
Yes, that's what was in my head, just that. And if I don't get to do it, I don't know, I never had if I don't get to do it, I just do it no matter what. Yeah, and nowadays artists are a little more, I guess it's easier. I was gonna say it's easier for exposure because you have your website and your Instagram and YouTube, right? Talk about your process or even talk about your struggles. That's one thing I was gonna have me and my wife do in my YouTube channel. There's gonna be a section where me and her have a talk, and I show what I taught her and her exercises and how hard it was for her to get a good work ethic, to keep on practicing, because it was hard. She was 8 months, she would not be drawing for a while, and it's almost like I'm thinking, but you can do it. Why is what was needed, and it turns out that what was needed is she needed to do something she actually liked doing, and yeah. But she's a hard worker. She was into sports and stuff. She'd still do the other exercise I had her doing, but it just wasn't fun to the point that she didn't want to do it. But when I realized you draw a lot of birds, I wonder if you just did birds, and then now she's just doing birds every day. It's awesome. And I think those little wins, those little confidence boosters, Now she's thinking, you know what? I think I could do humans now. It's like, I said, not yet. No. No, I'm just kidding.
Like personally, I feel like it's just a personal opinion. It's
Yeah.
like art isn't that hard because of like now, like so much like content online. You have mentorships, you have YouTube, like you said, and I think the hardest part is just the mental block of like self confidence. Can you do this?
Yes, that is.
Like the mental struggles, I'd say way harder.
That I totally agree with that. That's also another thing that you have to, I guess, fight while you already have the intention of becoming an artist. You have other people that don't think you could make it. Man, this is awesome. This was an awesome stream, by the way. Thanks everyone for joining. I'm sorry I had to cut it short. I want to hang out a little bit longer. Maybe I'll do this a little more often. Hopefully this is fun. I have to. Yeah, I do have to. Cool. Thank you guys. I do have to spend time with my kids. But before closing, I mean, is last questions. And Wilson, thank you again. Everyone here, Lightning, Sambio Art, The Rush, and everyone on my live stream on YouTube. Thanks for all the questions. And the heartfelt, conversation. I could feel you, Wilson.
Yeah, this is really appreciated about you doing this for us.
And it brings me back to when I was starting out 20 years ago, just that feeling of trying to push through. It's even harder, I think, when I think about the stuff I wanted to do, which is a lot morbid, demons, in the beginning. It's just fun. But now, actually, even when I started at Marvel, it was like Guardians of the Galaxy. Who is that? We don't know who that is. Oh, man. Anyway, sorry, guys. So I'm going to go. Thank you again, everyone. Maybe I'll try to do it next week again.
Thanks to you, Anthony.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. See you guys. Bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Take care. And same with the YouTube guys. Thanks again for joining me here. And if keep on visiting. I'm gonna try to do more of these tutorials and maybe more talks and have some guests with me from different industries. So thanks again. Please see you again. All right, bye guys.